Have you ever gone to a place and you feel like you've already been there, but maybe not in this lifetime, or you've had a glimpse of something that seems so real to you, but you don't understand how it makes any sense at all? Maybe you're viewing a past life or getting a hint of that. And today I have expert Laurie Wheeler here, who is a holistic practitioner. She does homeopathy. She works with research scientists on all kinds of quantum healing, which I will, quantum research, I guess I should say. She's, of course, an intuitive, plus much more. And she does a lot of work with the past life and in between lives. So we're going to talk about that today with her. And I'm Deb Peterson, and you're listening to Balance Your Life podcast, Our Evolving Consciousness. So, Lori, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Deb. It's really always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
So, really great topic. I mean, I've experienced a lot of your work personally, and it's just so fascinating to me. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your background, how you got into it first, or however you want to dive right in? What?
Sure. Well, I always like to tell people why I'm here talking about it. How did I get to this point? How do I know anything, right? So pretty much everything I know comes through the outer parameters, the unseen realm, and I channel many, many different interdimensional spirit guides, all different kinds of things. I'm actually work in psychometry. What that is if I put my hands near something or on something, I can read the energy.
That's
So
a
I'm a yeah, it's like it's a kind of a unique gift in a sort of way
Yeah,
that
like
we can
jewelry is
want.
like I've had people like hold jewelry and say, give a okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
something
have you
like
do that a
that,
little
right?
later. Oh, well, you can't actually hold anything over Zoom. Duh. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's okay though. I can hold my hand up and I can receive.
Oh,
So I
awesome.
receive a lot, like my hands are like transceivers, really. And
Oh,
so I transmit and receive and translate energy. So I started this at the, I guess, the age of 5 when I would channel Jesus, and I had a very close relationship with him, and from there it's just really blossomed over the years, and many different ones come in and speak with me, and so like I said, but yeah, let's
never
you know,
alone. I love that.
what.
You're never alone.
Oh gosh, no. I mean,
None
if
of us are, but you really get to hear it.
right, exactly. Um, Although I don't hear it all the time. I can turn it on and I can turn it off. And that's just a matter of intending what I want. And
Okay.
then it happens that way. So we have great, powerful minds if we would only use them just a little more often.
Right.
Um, but I'm going to dive in. I just want to talk a
Sure.
little bit about past lives, right?
Yes.
Because past lives are really they're simultaneous lives, actually. So we talk about them being in the past, but they're really not. There's no such thing as in the past. It's simultaneous. There are thousands of different times going on, different patterns and such of lifetimes per se.
That's so
And
hard to wrap your mind around.
it is. It
I
is.
mean,
Well, that's because we live in third dimension
yeah.
and we need something that says today, tomorrow, the next day, in order to really be able to understand life. But this is three-dimensional. Once you get out of what we call the third dimension, which we're getting there, and some of us do tippy toe in and out, you realize you're not confined by this world. It is a vast multiverse. So you know, past lives have a lot to do with or simultaneous life has to do with your current life. What is it? Because you're not going to see all of them, but what does a particular time have to do with your current time that's going on?
Right.
uh, who is in that time with you? What are you doing in that time? Like, what kind of things are you working on? What's happening? And what your perception of what's going on in that time through your own lens. It's like almost like watching a movie up on a screen in a sort of way. And then also understanding it through a different lens or a different perception, in the perception that you might have Now it's like wearing a different pair of glasses. You would see it differently. And
Mm.
so then we clear it and then you move on. And in a past life, I would also take you to meet your master spirit guide, that which has been with you since your very beginning, since
Okay.
you left became the spark of light that you are today.
Huh.
And all the ancestors and
And
such.
everyone has a master spirit guide. Yeah.
Every single person. Some people call them what are they, the like their guardian angels and such. It doesn't matter what you call them. This particular guide has been with you, chose you since the beginning, since your beginning. They've become their own master, and that they walk through each lifetime with you.
Huh.
So they're quite important to be with and to acknowledge and to get to know, really. um, and then you have your high self. And so your higher self is, so here you are as a soul, or a fraction of your soul, so to speak. Like we'll say it's like this, right? And you're part of the soul, the part of you that remains in spirit form all of the time.
Mhm.
And your spirit is not so to speak, really, like you're not walking beside it, and so to speak, it is connected to all of consciousness and
Okay.
the matrix. And so it knows everything that's going on, and then everything is relayed through your high self. And I keep going to the higher part of my
Yeah.
head, because it is the higher part of you, right? So
Sure.
I kind of think of it that way. It's like the greater
Yes.
part of you. Yeah. And so that would be what would be entailed in a past life, and understanding what that has to do with your time today. Then there are between lives, and that is about your incarnation and meeting your soul pod. In other words, you have a group of souls that you come back time after time, and you interplay
With.
different roles with, mother one time, father another, brother, sister, cousin, all that jazz, lover. um, and then
Yeah. What
meeting
else
your
goes on in between? If you could, like, I mean,
right, right. If you can believe, there's so much happening in
yeah.
between times, right? And I could be in between time right now on another plane, so to speak, another
Wow. That's
level.
what's so hard to grasp, I
it,
mean, for the
it
from the
is.
linear thought.
I know. Well, that's all right. I mean, you don't have to really know that per se, what is going on. There are some people now becoming more privy to that happening. We
Mhm.
do this all through hypnotic suggestion, deep coming down into the lower brain waves. So right now we are in beta brain waves. You and I are having a conversation. We're in our conscious
Mhm.
mind, right? We're conscious of what's happening. But when you're going to sleep and as you're waking up, you go through these different brain waves, and they happen as you breathe different. You bring yourself into these patterns. And what they are is the way the patterning is of the energy. That's really what it is. And so you connect to these other brain waves, and that's when the information is easier that it comes into you. That's why we have the dreams that we do that do not make a lot of sense sometimes,
Yeah, right.
because your subconscious plus you're hearing from your higher self, and all the information comes in and then it shows up in a dream. um, but back to the between lives, then also we meet our elders and our council. And a council is very important because they're helpful in putting our contracts together.
Mhm.
They tell us a lot about how we're doing in a lifetime.
Oh.
Uh, are we doing well? Are we up to performing or being what we contracted to do? Is
Is
there
that
something
like
else
with the
we need to
lessons?
know?
Like, are we getting the lessons that okay.
Yeah, are we even on our path? Like, are
Yeah.
we doing, am I with the right partner? Am I in the right place? Am I doing the right job? All the, and it's not that it's right or wrong, but
For your
you
soul's growth.
yeah, you made a list of
A
things that
plan.
you wanted to accomplish. Yeah, so they're very helpful with that also. And then we go to the Akashic records as well.
I'm
And
just going to
so
ask you
there's
about
more
that.
about the contracts in the Akashics.
And you can read the Akashic records, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one of your
Yeah, I
talents.
definitely can. But, for me, Deb, I like people to have experience. I
Mhm.
could sit and read anything and tell somebody,
Sure.
anything they really kind of need to know. And that's okay because sometimes we just need a little help understanding. But I like people to have the experience. I want it direct because
Well,
when it's
you
like this, if I told you there's this great restaurant down the street, they have the best pancakes and this and that, right? But until you go and you actually taste it and you
Mhm.
smell it, you look at it and feel it, you're experiencing it. The
Mhm.
idea is about experience. That's where we get our greatest growth.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's why we are physical in experience,
Right.
because we know this somewhere within ourselves, in
Uh-huh.
our higher self, right? It's about the experience and what our takeaway is in the experience as well. I often say that's my favorite saying. It's not what happens; it's what you do with it as a result of that
Right.
really
So, I mean,
matters.
yeah, you can read the Akashic records, but how's you have to kind of see how that's fitting in, right, with what you're doing or what path you're on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's your perception in the Akashics. Like, how are you seeing it? How are you reviewing it, feeling it? What are your experience? I could tell you something, but that's going to run through my brains in my opinion, right? It's different when it's yours and yours alone, and then I guide you through that and help with questions and to unravel it a little better. So yeah, so it's a deep dive in looking into your contract and also what a lifetime that may be bringing that information to. So past lives and akashics and soul, regression and between lives, they're all kind of
Together.
interconnected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're interconnected, right?
Yep. Definitely.
So how can, I mean, I don't know, do you have any tips or tools like on that people could get more in touch with that? Or I don't know if I'm asking the right question, but I'm like, how can this be more useful to people in like our everyday lives?
Yeah, well, I often say I think it's very pertinent to have a past life regression.
Okay.
One, to have the experience because you're going to go to that particular time. You're going to see a lot of things and you're going to perceive it through you today, not,
Right.
and yet at that day as well. So you're going to look at it like from multi ways. And it's very important to be able to do that because you gain soul wisdom that way.
Mm.
And so I think for people, I think it's a very important thing to do that. It can open up a lot of understanding for a person, who they are, what they're doing here, why
Right.
is this happening in their world, what's creating it, what's blocking it.
I was gonna
We
say, and possibly
oftentimes know
clear it
that.
if you're getting blocked, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
because sometimes we carry things from our past lives. Well, I guess a lot, right?
Oh
Over.
yeah. Oh
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. We we carry a lot of karmic things that come on, go on, things that we've held that we need to work through that maybe didn't get finished. Yeah, so it's very important to do that. And then I often say, do a past life, experience what that's like, and everybody does them different. Like I'm different the way I do past life than maybe somebody else. So I've had a few people come and say, "Oh, I've done that before," but it's different. So
Right. I'm sure
it's a
you
good
learn each
experience.
time
Yeah,
anyway, right? And everybody's got a little bit different techniques, so I'm sure you get more and more,
exactly,
yeah, insight.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
yeah. So and just how this all happens, I'll just explain a little bit. So our soul has all these experience and it ripples into other lifetimes and other lifetimes ripple into our experience here right now on earth, our current time. And that's why we're waking up. As we're waking up, the light is coming in, it's waking us, it's touching, it's communicating to our DNA. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes if you'd like. And so as it wakes us up, we are having more remembering thoughts coming through and experiences, and being able to sometimes clear them away as well, or change the perspective. Once you change the perspective, it no longer holds the energy that it did from the original time, which is how we clear things, you know?
No,
So
that's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, so it's very important to do that, because you don't want to carry all that, you know, like what I call baggage, right?
No,
You know?
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then when we do meet our high self in a soul regression, the high self, like I said, the part that remains in your spirit form, that is probably what I consider people's most favorite part of the whole experience, is because that is you without your baggage. Like, you feel yourself really connected to everything, like you are just a part of everything. You are this, you are this, you're the tree. There's just no separation.
Right.
And
Well,
very hard thing to describe until you actually experience it. But once you do, you also begin to experience the magnificence of who your soul really is. And that's where you're going to get that opportunity to, in consciousness, be able to say, that's who I really am. I'm all of that. I am this. It's
right.
like, you know, it's like unzipping yourself and stepping out of your skin and being the light that you are. You know,
Right.
it's a
I hear
beautiful
about it all the
experience.
time. And I know people have had near-death experiences,
Yeah.
experience that, and a lot of, yeah. And I mean, we do hear it, but I guess that is something like you want to, experience.
Mhm. Well,
You,
we've all experienced it. You know, each time we end our life and we reincarnate in that, we do. But we do not have the conscious memory
right.
until something occurs that jogs that memory, right? So, like a near death, or some people just spontaneously having that experience. Yeah. Hmm.
Hi, Deb and I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you for watching. We hope that you're enjoying our guests, and we wanted to say please remember to subscribe below, like us, send us a
Yeah.
comment.
And let us know if there's anybody you want to hear from, and we'll try to get them on.
Hmm.
Why do you know how it works? Why are our memories erased?
Yeah, well, there's a couple reasons. One, and it's kind of complicated,
Okay.
that answer. But the main part of that reason is so that we can relearn things, but learn things through the wisdom of learning. So
Okay.
in other words, it's like, you know, say you're 8 years old and you put your hand in the fire. Burn my hand. Okay. All right. And then, you know, the next time you come near fire, it's going to be very hot. You're going to be careful. You have learned through your experience, right? But you come back another time, and somehow you look at that fire at maybe at 8 years old again, and you say, you know, I don't know what it is, but I need to be careful about that. I've become wiser in my soul's understanding that
Okay.
creates this. Okay. And so we become wiser. And so it's not only just, you know, things like that, like I explained, fire and that, but it's about learning, ultimately, love coming through the heart, learning to love ourselves, learning to know who we really are, learning to love others, have compassion. You
Right.
know, when tragedy happens, that's when you find communities become very compassionate and caring about people. It
Yeah.
just comes up out of them, right? And so part of tragedy, out of that, is the silver lining of compassion and understanding. And so we get the opportunity to learn this about ourselves and about others. And
Right.
there's other reasons too, but that I think, you know, if you can think about God or source or whatever you call the great energy being
Mhm.
that creates all of life, and it's not a man sitting in a chair, let's just put it that way.
Right.
Okay. All right. But it's energy, right? And it's energy that has so many, and you can't even facets to it. And they're constantly changing and expanding and growing and putting into what we call the cosmic matrix. Like I think of it as a gigantic, you could think of it like a gigantic spider web, and all this information that goes in and it gets held right there. And now it becomes a part of everybody's learning and experience, even though you may not be aware of that, it's still in there. So how I can explain that is like in societal beliefs, we have seen in society, our beliefs are changing, and so that's part of the whole consciousness beginning to shift in that kind of thinking. And so it's holding it in the matrix. That's where the change happens.
Okay. No, that's good. That's a good explanation. Yeah, and things are changing. Like, what do you see for things changing or, coming up this year, if you will, or however you want to talk about it?
Well, so nothing is ever etched really in stone. This is the beauty, right? So
Yes.
it's not like there's this, tablet says, oh, okay, in 2025, this is happening and this is happening. It's what we know in the quantum field, and the quantum field is just a particular field of patterned bandwidths of frequency, right? Okay, that's what it really is. But to get away from the technical, if we can think of it like this is the realm of what is possible and probable, okay,
Right, but not definite.
so it's
And that's because of the free will.
right. It's not definite because it's up to the consciousness to create what will be. Okay. So tomorrow you could say, I got to go get groceries at the grocery store. But then you might get up and not feel well. Maybe you have a cold or something. And so you don't go. Well, the probability was that you were going to go to the grocery store.
Right.
But you got up, you changed it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we can change it. And that's the idea. We are in a constant motion of change. And what I've learned working with the quantum biologist in research science of subtle energies, of what and how our DNA is affected by electromagnetics, because we're all electromagnetic, right?
Of course.
Okay. So, and just to explain, that's a receiving and transmitting of electrical energy. Okay. So that's what we are basically, and everything else around us. So, and our DNA, not only our genetic DNA, but our spiritual DNA is also energy, right? So it is constantly receiving and transmitting information. And so with this, in the realm of what's possible, but you're in charge of what you want to do. So say you've been with a partner for 5 years and this partner's just not working for you, right? So you can make the change to get up the next day and say, I'm just not doing this anymore, or quit a job, or whatever it may be, buy a house, whatever it is. And they don't have to be such large changes. They can be very little subtle energetic changes. And actually, those are the ones that really grasp a hold and help us to make the greater changes, as those small changes that we move toward who we are and what we really want. What tickles us? What's our passion? What do we get excited about?
Right.
Like I love the science research that I work on. I get really excited about that because we're proving what we're talking about right now. We're proving this. And that gets exciting when you can literally, I know when I transmit, when I receive information through the light, wherever it's coming from, and I've worked with interdimensionals, I've worked with galactic codes, I've worked with the light beings, all different beings, right, of light in some form or fashion. And I transmit it into DNA or water, and then we actually take the data of that particular substance, let's say DNA, and it's checked before, and then once I transmit, it's rechecked again to find out how much electricity is coming into it, because again, we're electromagnetic, right? So it's all about the electrical conductivity. What we've really come to understand is that when enough is received, the shape of the DNA changes.
Yeah, that's just amazing.
It changes into a toroidal field. Now, you've probably seen this somewhere out on maybe YouTube or something, but it's like it's the funnel in the center, and it comes up around and comes back down and around. Okay. Kind of looks like a wormhole also,
Yeah.
They're in some way kind of like each other in a bit of a way. But anyway, I won't get into that.
Okay.
That's kind of complex.
Another conversation.
And I don't know that I don't know, I only know what I know. But the beauty of it is that we can prove it. It's been proven, it's been quantified, and it's been written up now and spoken about, amongst other scientists as well. So, and one really neat thing happened, and I love sharing this. It's just so much fun. So one day I'm working with the scientist, right? And I'm in the corner, I'm channeling or bringing in, transmitting the galactic codes, I call them. They're these squiggly, funky looking, symbol lines in that, right? And I'm transmitting it into the DNA, right? I have a little violet DNA, and I'm transmitting. Okay. He's in the other part of the room on his computer, computing data, right? And what happens, I'm not watching, my eyes are closed, he's working. And when I'm finished, he says, Laurie, you're not going to believe this.
What?
He says, my computer screen went down completely. All the data went completely down. Like, where did it go? He said his screen turned pink and orbs showed up on the computer screen and started pulsing like this.
Wow, I'm getting chills.
Yeah. There you go. I tell this to a lot of folks, and they get the same reaction.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
And we got 10 seconds of video on it on his phone. So we can prove that this actually happens. So when I asked the light what they were transmitting, and the light said to me, we came at this specific moment to tell you that you are in the frequency, in the frequency that we connect, and that we bring the light through, so that it is accessing into the DNA. You are sending truth. The communication that's coming from the light is truth, and that it is now being, because it's in research science, now that it's being proven that this is happening right now in science. And so I was really tickled about that too.
Yeah, that's great. And like I said, people, there's a lot of skeptical people, of course, and then I think it's great, right? They want to see the results. So
yeah, I think, well, we have two sides to the brain. We have the analytical, intellectual side, and then we have our spiritual side, right? And so it's really, in our time, it is about merging both and utilizing both. We're here, knowledge is important. Science is important. It's propelling us to move on. We're growing through it. But at the same time, we can't, pretend that the spiritual does not exist, because they work together, right? So to have both is really important for us to move forward. Yeah.
So do you feel like, because we have like a few minutes, do you want to do any of your, what was it called, psychometry or anything? I've got a couple of people here. I've got the crew here. I've got some people working, or
put me on the spot.
You don't have to, unless you want to talk about something else,
No, that's okay. Does somebody want to step up or ask a question or something?
You want to ask a question?
Who wants to say something or have me check in on them?
Do you need to have them on the screen, or do you want
No, but just let me know who it is, so I know who I'm reading. Or
does that be a question, or just like a?
Can it be?
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you say?
Does that be like a question, or just like?
Yeah, just sure. Go ahead.
He said, does it have to be a question, or can you just kind of give, like, read the energy or whatever, what he might need to know? His name's Michael.
Michael. Michael. Okay, Michael. So this is what I'm picking up right away, Michael, for you. I see your feet. I see you walking. You need to be more in nature, or you are a nature person and like to be in nature, but maybe you're not getting enough of it. Maybe it has something to do with, weather or whatever, or time that you're very busy, not getting out into it, but you definitely need more of that. Does that resonate with you at all?
Yes, I have been wanting to go on more hikes.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is definitely, it is being said that take the time. Actually, this weekend is a very good weekend for you. Spend some time in nature, because nature has some, I don't want to say advice, but some information to share with you. So if you do some grounding, like actually touch the ground, find a spot without snow or whatever, and touch the ground or touch the tree, lean up against the tree and merge with the tree, like begin to breathe in the tree. And what I mean by that is, as you're breathing, you're seeing the tree right in front of you. You're feeling it. You can feel it. You experience the tree. Breathe it in and breathe it into your third eye and into your heart, and ask, what do you want to share with me? What very specific can you share with me at this moment? Because nature is so important. It's the pulse of Mother Earth, which is the pulse of our heartbeat. Okay. So we resonate with Mother Earth and all of nature. And so it is asking for you to have more presence in nature for you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you for that one.
Oh, okay. We
Jewelry,
have anything else?
jewelry just for fun, because we've never done that on here. Like a piece
Oh,
of take off a bracelet or something. I don't know. What do you think?
sure.
Although
Yeah.
you know me, but
No, what do you want me to read?
she doesn't have to. She said she doesn't have to feel it, right? I could just hold it
No.
up.
Yeah, no. Okay. Okay, so I right away, it may not be the bracelet that's actually telling me, but I'm picking up
Okay.
on a grandmother. And now it's trying to discern whether it's your actual grandmother or a grandmother spirit.
Oh,
And I kind of get more of the grandmother spirit. It is a motherly, a woman that is of great wisdom, that provides information for you. She shares with you. Well, she's very loving, for one thing.
okay.
But the other is that she's providing her wisdom for you. She very specifically wants you to know you are on your path, but there is a side step that you could take. And I may not want to share too much of this more
Oh,
on
you don't have to talk to you.
camera,
Fine.
but and I could share it with you later. But yeah, so she just does have some words of wisdom for you coming for you about a sidestep within your work and what you're doing at this point. So, but it may be that you've had some of this on your mind, and this is why it's coming in at this moment for you.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's good. Anybody? Christina, do you want to ask a question or anything?
Yes, I don't really have a question necessarily.
Sure.
Do you want to come on so she could see you, or what do you want to do? Or, well, I don't know. Her name's Christina. She's
Does she want to ask me something, or do you want me to just read for you?
I guess just a reading. I don't really have a question.
no one's got questions anymore.
Okay. Oh, no, that's okay. Well, sometimes people don't know where to begin. Okay.
Right,
And
exactly.
so what I pick up is there's a question about health here. And I don't like to really read health out in the open because I don't like to open up that energy field for people. I feel that's a very personal thing. I'm careful about what I read sort of out in public, I would say. But I'm happy to read that later for you. But I think there's a quandary about something in the body that you have further wonderment about. And so that's what I'm picking up at this very moment. And I'm just going to ask you, is that what you wanted to know about or you were curious?
I feel like, yeah.
Mm. Okay, so we're done.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
was
I'll tell you when we get off camera.
okay. Is there anything else though you want to tell our listeners? Any
Oh gosh, Deb, I have so much I'd love to
I
tell
know
the
you do.
listeners.
You're
I
just,
do.
you know,
Yeah, and I don't want to blow anybody's mind, but working with the scientist, it's taken me in such directions, and I've learned so much, and I've been privy to information that comes in. But also, we just came back from Egypt in um, November, and oh my gosh, what a powerful place! So going to places and experiencing the high resonance, like we were in the king's chamber of the pyramid. We
wow.
got to lean up against the Sphinx, and the Sphinx, I actually channeled the Sphinx, and that's why I was guided to go to
Love
Egypt,
it.
So
Right.
bringing about different information and opening at that for helping people open to that, it wakes us up to remember different things about ourselves. It's all about coming into who we are.
Right.
That's the bottom line. But
Okay.
what's most important, I'm going to leave this for everybody. You may know something and you may come in to learn something, but then what are you going to do with it? That's what's really important. So I'm just going to leave everybody with that
That
today.
was a great way to end that. Yes, it's so true. All right. Well, Laurie, thank you. It's been a pleasure, as always, to have you.
Thanks, Deb. It's really been a pleasure to be here. I enjoy it so much.
All right. And we'll see you soon. Okay. And we'll see you next time.